Lives Matter, and please explain. And Liz Watson, I think, is first, right? Yes.
The Black Lives Matter movement has been so important to calling attention to the terrible shootings of unarmed black men and unarmed black women that have cost countless lives. We have not had the attention span to really do much about this. We're here now talking about gun violence and what we can do. This is something that every time it happens, you know, we have a little blip on the radar screen and then we go back to our daily lives. But the moms who've lost their sons, they don't go back. We have men who have been incarcerated due to the terrible, terrible mass incarceration problem that we have in our country. We incarcerate black men at something like 3 times the rate of other people. And this is absolutely a vestige of discrimination in our country, and we can do so much better than that. So Black Lives absolutely matter. The movement is so important, and it's critical that we continue to pay attention and to do everything we can to stop the shooting of unarmed black men and women, and to stop mass incarceration, and to address things like disproportionate conviction and treatment of folks in our criminal justice system. And actually this starts in school, because that's where the disproportionate discipline begins, and where kids, black kids, get ensnared in the criminal justice system. And that's something I've actually worked on quite a bit, is stopping the front end, entrapping of our kids in the juvenile justice system. Thank you.
Going back to books, I think that absolutely required reading for every American person should be the book, The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. Everybody should read that. And tell everybody to read it that you can think of. Black Lives absolutely matter. This has been a big focus of my work for my entire career here in this region, representing people of color who have been subject to some of the most horrific abuses that you can possibly imagine, both within the jail and prison system and just out on the street by law enforcement officers, right? And I can tell you story after story after horror story, one in particular that originated in Indiana, where you've got my black client who was picked up by a white driver who then decided to lead the police on a high-speed chase, and he's calling 911 and begging for his life and saying, I've been kidnapped. And at the end of the chase, what do you think happens? They pull the white driver out and lead her delicately to the squad car, and they pull my guy out of the passenger seat after he's been begging for his life, and they proceed to give him the beating of his life. And he died. And Black Lives Matter, this is why I've been proud to provide representation for local Black Lives Matter activists. It's why I've been proud to do the work that I've done here on behalf of people of color who so desperately need a voice within the criminal justice system, and I've been proud to provide them with that voice. I think that there should be no doubt that Black Lives Matter, and when people say that, it's because of this, the horrific abuses that we see within the criminal justice system. Another reason why it's so important to protect our judiciary, because that is often where justice begins and ends for these people. Thank you.
Black Lives Matter, our government has often contradicted that systematically. We know that we have African Americans that have actually been, like I said, systematically kept out of our housing system, the way that we even zone in some of our cities. And it's just, the thing that really upsets me most is that we're talking about people that actually were here today because they founded this country. African Americans are the reason we're here today. And the respect that is given is nominal from the government, from us, most of us, we don't even think about it. That's going to change. I mean, I think more than anything, it's just respect, the acknowledgement of this class of individuals that are equals in our country, yet they get penalized constantly. I mean, it's just going to go on. It almost seems like it's never ending. I know some people have talked about reparations for slavery. I don't even think that would go far enough at this point. But you know, 400 years of slavery, Jim Crow laws, just constant attacks on you know, fights for civil liberties. My brother-in-law said, he said, "I just wish black people could be more like us." And I'm thinking, after all they've been through, maybe we should be thankful they're not. So I'm just disgusted at this point, and obviously I will have a very loud voice for equality, not just for African American community, but all of us. It's about dignity and respect. Those are not just sentiments. I mean, we really need to practice this thing, these things, and turn it into policy. So it's going to untangle this mess that we have in Washington to find out where this